Hello and welcome back to Man vs Film. This is another top 10 of movies that you can watch right now on Amazon Prime UK for the month of July 2019. As always, these may not be the best movies on the service, but it's 10 that I feel need the attention and I think are pretty worth checking out. They're a varied bunch this month. As always, I'd love you to subscribe to this channel to make sure you get this video every month on the 3rd and your notifications. So make sure and hit that bell and subscribe, like this video as well, and let's get started with number 10. Class of Nuke High. When Warren and Chrissy notice some strange things happening around their high school, they begin to suspect that something is going on at the nuclear plant next door. Though the plant officials deny that there are any problems, Chrissy gives birth to a bloodthirsty mutant who immediately begins eating everyone at the school. Will Warren and Chrissy be able to stop their killer kid? If you haven't experienced a trauma movie, then buckle in, because they are something a whole lot different than what you're used to. It is low budget, but they make the best of the budget they have. It is wacky characters, there is off-kilter production values in this movie, there is great special effects, there is a wacky as all hell storyline at the heart of this. Class of Nuke High is one of my favourite trauma movies, and I don't really think there is anything that I can say that's going to prepare you for what you're about to watch. If you want something different, this is the one for you. Number 9, The Girl Next Door. 18-year-old Matthew Kidman is a straight-A overachiever who feels that he's never really lived life to the fullest. That is, until he meets the girl next door. Danielle moves in next door and Matthew thinks he's found a girl of his dreams. All is going well until Matthew's sex-mad friend Eli reveals that Danielle is actually an ex-porn star. Matthew doesn't know how to take this news or how to treat Danielle, and things go from bad to worse when Danielle's former producer Kelly appears to take her back. This is another movie that seemed to just fade into the ether, and the synopsis kind of paints a picture of what it's not. It's a romantic movie, it's a teen romantic comedy of sorts that just has that kind of icky background to it. You take that away and you still have an enjoyable movie. This is nothing that's overly crass or in your face, but I really do like the characters at the heart of it. I think they're really fun, they're engaging. I like the villainous episode as well that comes in, this ex-producer who is predictably sleazy and disgusting, but the movie's pretty enjoyable. It's one of these ones that I hear nobody talking about, and as soon as it came on Amazon Prime I was like, yes, that's going on my list, I'm watching that again. Number 8, Upworld. Norm is just an average gnome, but he wants to impress the lady gnomes by doing something heroic, so he steals the gnomes' magic stones to expose them to sunlight to recharge them. And when he gets to the surface, he witnesses a murder and the killer ends up with his stones. Detective Casey, who was working a sting operation with the murdered man, is blamed for botching the sting and causing the death. Wanting to catch the killer to clear his name, he teams up with Norm, who he accidentally discovers. Full disclosure on this one, I haven't watched it again, but I am going to. This is a movie from my childhood that I loved. Here in the UK it was called Upworld, but it was also known as A Gnome Named Norm. Jim Henson created Norm and it is a fantastic effect from what I remember. I do remember it being really good. It's one of these fish out of water, strange partnerships that shouldn't work, and it had so many funny moments. It had good action, it had a kind of familiar formulaic story from what I remember, but it was one that I went back to a lot to revisit. Again, I don't think I've seen this movie in about 25 years. I'm really curious to go back and check this one out, and when I do I'll leave a comment in the comment box just saying whether I made a good choice or a bad choice, and I'd like you to fill me in as well. What did you think of this movie? Number 7, Jack the Giant Slayer. Sent to the market by his uncle to sell their horse and buy thatch for their roof, Jack meets a beautiful princess, Isabel, whom he rescues from ruffians. He returns home with only a handful of beans given him by a monk who claims they were sacred. After an argument and the beans being thrown in the ground, they grow into a giant stalk, carrying away the princess and Jack's house. He soon sets off on an adventure with the King's Guard to rescue the princess. Jack the Giant Slayer was a movie that I went to the cinema, saw and promptly forgot about, but doing it for the Brits on Flicks podcast again, I came to a movie and discovered one that was actually pretty enjoyable. Great special effect, a great take on the Jack and the Beanstalk story. You get familiar beats that happen in this, but there is great action as well. There is a fantastic performance from Ewan McGregor as one of the Queen's guards. It's some good action, it's some good romance, it's good characters that are nice to meet. It's a great opening as the character storylines, how Jack is a kind of peasant and Isabel as a royalty, and how their lives are currently mirroring each other in different ways on an emotional level. It is a pretty fun movie that I kind of wrote off as just formulaic, big budget for the sake of it, but it was actually more enjoyable than I first remembered. Number 6, Fist Fight. On the last day of school, right on senior prank day in Roosevelt High, things don't look good for meek English teacher Andy Campbell, who feels exceptionally expendable facing a bleak future in front of severe job cuts, just before the year's new school season. But soon things will go from bad to worse when feeble Campbell will infuriate the scary, hot-headed history teacher Ron Strickland, who in turn will challenge him to an old school, no-holds-barred, mano-a-mano throwdown. This movie reminded me a lot of 3 O'Clock High. It has a similar premise. You have a working day as this teacher who gets in this bad situation right at the start has to figure out a way to get out of this throughout the rest of the movie. Hopefully at the end he'll become the person he needs to be to stand up to this bully and save his day, job, life, whatever, the usual kind of stuff. What surprised me most about this was it was actually funny. I was engaged by the movie. It was one of those ones that before I even watched it, I had written off as a no-hoper. I put it on to kill some time in the background and pretty soon found myself engaged with this flick. Number 5, Oblivion. One of the few remaining drone repairmen assigned to Earth, its surface devastated after decades of war with alien scavs, discovers a crashed spaceship with contents that bring into question everything he believed about the war and may even put the fate of mankind in his hands. Tom Cruise stars in this visually stunning science fiction movie. It's one that really grew on me over the years. Now I do feel it's a movie of 2 halves, the first half being the most visually stunning, the most mesmeric, the most clinical kind of effortless film making that I love. The second half being a little bit messy, a little bit more dirty and grimy and formulaic and the type of thing you've seen before. But I think it's a good juxtaposition between the 2 movies, and it kind of fits the overall tone of the tale. It's one that didn't fulfill me on my first watch, but after rewatching it, it's something that I've grew to love as being a pretty good science fiction movie. 4. The Edge of 17. Everyone knows that growing up is hard and life is no easier for high school junior Nadine, who is already at peak awkwardness when her all-star older brother Darian starts dating her best friend Krista. All at once, Nadine feels more alone than ever until the unexpected friendship of a thoughtful boy gives her a glimmer of hope that things just might not be so terrible after all. Another one of those movies that I wrote off before actually checking it out, and this movie is full of emotion and heart, and that is what drives the movie forward. We get a fantastic performance from Hailee Steinfeld and a great performance from Woody Harrelson as her put-upon teacher as well. And it's just a girl who, high school isn't her time. It's not her place. She doesn't fit in. She doesn't enjoy it. But she just needs to try and get through it. And everything seems like such a hurdle to her, but it is done in such a funny, endearing manner that you can't help but love this character, the situations, and the movie. It is one that I watched a few times because it's just so wonderful. Number 3, A Few Good Men. A Navy lawyer who has never seen the inside of a courtroom defends 2 stubborn Marines who have been accused of murdering a colleague. The defence is originally based upon the fact that PFC Santiago, the victim, was given a code red. Santiago was basically a screw-up. At Guantanamo Bay, screw-ups aren't tolerated, especially by Colonel Nathan Jessup. In Cuba, Jessup and 2 senior officers try to give all the help they can. But Cafe knows something's fishy is going on. You've probably seen A Few Good Men. If you haven't, you probably know lines from it because it is one of the most famous lines that has been reiterated countless times through countless movies and TV shows since then. Tom Cruise Jack Nicholson, a courtroom drama. I love courtroom dramas when they're these kind of big brash ways that just seem overproduced and over elaborate and not very realistic, but man, do they build the tension and keep you on the edge of your seat. This has a great cast, it has a great story, and it has a fantastic finale. Number 2, House on Sorority Row. A group of girls staying at the sorority house clash with the house's owner, who wants them out. They decide to play a prank on her, but it goes awry and she winds up dead. Panicking, the girls try to hide the body, but someone, or something, witnessed the crime and begins to stalk them. I just discovered House by Sorority Row last year. I had seen the remake first, which was alright but kind of forgettable. The original I was a little bit wary of because there was a lot of movies that came out in the 80s that just weren't up to scratch. Thankfully, House and Sorority Row was one of the best kind of slasher movies from the early 80s that I have seen. And it does things just a little bit differently. It mixes it with some humour, some comedy as well as the drama that goes on amongst with these characters. There are constantly moments where they're almost discovered by moving this old woman's body around the house while a full-blown party is going on. The ending is a little bit obtuse and a little bit strange, but I feel as if that just adds to the proceedings as well. This is one of these slasher movies that it's not one that's talked overly too much about, but it's one, if you are into the slasher genre, into the horrors of the 80s, that I think you must check out. Number 1, The Warriors. Cyrus, the leader of the most powerful gang in New York City, the Gramercy Riffs, calls a midnight summit for all the area's gangs, with all asked to send 9 unarmed representatives for the conclave. A gang called the Warriors are blamed for killing Cyrus as he gives his speech. Now they have to cross the territory of rivals in order to get to their own hood. The Warriors slowly cross the dangerous Bronx and Manhattan territories, narrowly escaping police and other gangs every step of the way. The Warriors is one of my favourite Walter Hill movies. It is an action movie from start to end, basically with these 9 guys trying to get from point A to point B with everybody after them. Police, other gangs, people who just want to make a mark for themselves. It's all about the cool clothes and gangs and setups, the various fight scenes that go on that are all brutal and violent and dangerous, and just leads to a fantastic climax. The Warriors is something that I loved ever since I first discovered it in the late 80s, and it's one that I love recommending to people that may never have heard of it before. So many quotable lines, so many moments that just last long in the memory banks. I absolutely adore The Warriors. I hope you're going to love it as much as I do. So there we have it. 10 fantastic movies for you to check out this month on Amazon Prime. I hope you find something there that sparks a little bit of curiosity in you, that you're willing to go and check it out. And if you do, I hope you're going to come back here and let me know in the comment box what you thought of it. Same as well, if there's something here, if there's something on Amazon Prime that I should have had on my list, let me know in the comment box, and maybe next month it might make it on there. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for hopefully liking this video, and I'll see you next time on Man vs Film.